Well, no, I don't know. That's the other story.
All right, good morning. How is everyone?
Very good.
Oh, I like it. Good. I'm glad. Hanging in there. We're almost to the weekend. I'm going up to Morro Bay this weekend, specifically for cookies. I'm going for a 2-day trip to eat cookies. Yep, I'm proud of that, right? I don't know if any of you have ever been to the Brown Butter Cookie Company. I've been like looking forward to it for like a year, right? I love their cookies. I plan to eat an obscene amount of cookies this weekend. That's my plan right now. I plan to be like 5 pounds heavier from cookies. Anyway, all right, now I'm thinking about cookies. That's all that's on my mind. Okay, cookies, and they have a really good bakery, right? For like coffee and stuff in the morning. We go places for food, right? I'm sure that's not super surprising. So, last time we're gonna get back into chapter 2. I hope you spent a little bit of time thinking about what you would research, if you could research anything. If you completely forgot, think about it in the back of your mind as we go through our class today, because we are gonna come back to that in a little bit here. But last time we kind of introduced this topic, we talked about theories. If you didn't already, make sure you look at the theories in the book, because I wasn't covering them or didn't cover them. We talked about sexologists and a couple of kind of the smaller contributions. And then I have that we left off here. So these 3 people, or 3 groups, there's one like duo here, are some of the most prominent sexologists and sex researchers that have contributed to the field. And the first guy up here is by far the most influential, followed closely by the couple that comes after. But Alfred Kinsey is one of the most influential researchers related to sexuality of the 20th century. He played a huge role in advancing human sexuality and being the first one to study it. He nearly lost his job because of it. Like at the time when people were starting to study this, it was controversial. So people found themselves without jobs, their offices were vandalized and burned down. Right? It wasn't received well to talk about sex. And so look at people under like a microscope, right? And see what we can find out. So Kinsey, he was a teacher. And he actually wasn't a psychology or human sexuality teacher. He was a biologist, right? An entomologist. And he kind of became interested in the variety that he saw when it came to sex and sexuality. And so he was the first to offer a human sexuality class. And it was such a different time. You had to be married to take his class in a college. So people got married or pretended they were married, wore like fake wedding rings so that they could enroll. Very different time. People fainted in his classes when he put pictures up of like anatomy, because it was just such a different era of time. And I want to show you a little excerpt of a documentary on him in a moment. And I think it does a really good job of giving you his background and kind of showing you what that early class and some of his research looked like. There's also a really, it was a pretty well done movie that was done a while ago at this point. But I brought it just to like show you. If you want to know more about Kinsey, this movie was actually pretty good. Liam Neeson is like the main guy who played Kinsey in it. But he had a lot of issues with his research, is why he isn't always like, isn't always talked about most favorably. He did a lot of what was called sampling of convenience. So that's not the most like efficacious thing to do when you're doing research. It's convenient. But I have this sample right in front of me. Let's say I wanted to do research on sex. I'm like, ooh, I have 30 participants, right? The nice thing is I could get information from all of you. But is it really reflective of like the entire population of the campus? And so he had a lot of like samples of convenience. He didn't do random sampling, which is something that you really should do when you're doing market research. But he was the first to really do this kind of stuff. And so he has a big place in the field. So let's take a look at him a little bit more. As I said, I want to show you, it's about 20, I want to say it's like 26 minutes. And it talks a little bit about his life, the forming of that class, and then the beginning of his research. And again, just like the last one we watched, some interesting stuff that's very different then versus now. You don't need to take notes, just pay attention. And I did post the video on Canvas as well, in case you wanted to watch it later or you missed something. But here we go. I think there's like several ads in the beginning, maybe not. One of them has like 5 ads and I always feel like I should skip them. I can't remember if it's this one or not. Yep, I have a note to myself, lots of ads.
And includes references to many aspects of human sexuality. It is intended for
There's sexuality in this clip, be warned, in everything in here, right?
mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.